Hi guys, it's another beautiful Friday with your girl Bola Tito Fatoki at Sped Everyday. As usual, I'm so excited to be with you again today to talk about our individuals with exceptionalities, ways to support them either academically, behaviorally, their social skills, life skills, all those skills needed to help our individuals with exceptionalities reach their highest potential. If you're watching this for the first time, I want to say welcome. This is the best YouTube plug for special education. I'm a special education expert and an advocate, an educator, and I can tell you you're here. You clicked on the right channel to learn more about supporting our individuals with exceptionalities. Are you one of those that's been on this with us, on this journey with us for a while? I want to say thank you again for supporting SPED every day. If you need any answers to questions, please do not forget to email me at spedeveryday@gmail.com. Also, leave a comment below so I'll be able to respond to your questions. Or if you have any strategy you want to share, why not? Do you have topics you want me to talk about? Why not leave in the comments or email me? Again, do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't just watch and leave. Subscribe so that you can get weekly alerts when new information gets in the channel. Also, don't forget to share. Information shared here at Sped Everyday should be shared with others as well. So don't keep it to yourself. Just share, like, comment, and subscribe. Wow, it's a beautiful day, and I'm so excited with this topic. Today, I'm going to be talking about supporting siblings. Yes, I said siblings of individuals with special needs in their home. How do we support siblings as parents? I've heard so much questions from siblings or concerns. Older siblings saying my parents just believe I'm going to take over when they leave, or my parents always put everything on me, or I don't even get enough attention. Or even parents saying, how do I balance this? I have a child with autism or another type or category of disability, and I have other children in the home too, and I just don't know how to balance it. Some parents take their kids out of sports or other things that they like to do because they need more time to cater for the child in the home that has special needs. So how do we support these siblings? How do we balance parenting among siblings of those individuals that have special needs in our home? Number one, talk about it. Talk about it to other kids in the home. Don't make it something an information that should be a secret. Sometimes we may not even be thinking as a secret, or we may not be thinking like we are all covering up, or we're not trying to share. It's just because the situation may be so overwhelming that you do not even have the time or enough time or to even think and process that, oh, I need to let this child know what is going on. So apparently the child just keep going on, and seeing everybody reacting differently in the home or trying to do more to support his other sibling with special needs, and it's like, why are they all doing that? And before you know it, if you're not talking about it, this child may begin to find solace in other things. Before I go deeper in this, I want to talk a little bit more of issues or things or ways a sibling of a person with special needs can try to avert or ignore or even be too involved in the situation. If they are not knowledgeable, if they don't know, they may just see themselves, just as some of them just assume the responsibility, like everybody is doing this to help my brother or sister, so I'm going to do this. So to turn themselves to that big helper. And trust me and you as adults, when we find a child that is trying to help all the time, what do? We rely so much on them sometimes. Oh, now you got it. Go bring your brother's stuff. Go bring your sister's stuff. Will your brother out there? No, you have to stay with your brother. And just because that child has suddenly taken up that responsibility to be a great helper, we don't know what it's going to turn to at the end of the day. So that is one of the reasons why we need to discuss and then train them on how to assist. So it's not that child just taking up that responsibility, but it's by instruction from us on how to help their siblings. Also, some kids, if they're not aware, they can just start creating unnecessary attention, negative attention, because they see everybody in the home trying to give the other sibling so much attention, because that, in quotes, is what they feel it is. Oh, he gets all the attention. He gets to go to the doctor all the time. He gets to do therapy. Oh, people even come home and say, how is he doing? Where is he? And they just start, that's how it works. I'm going to start creating attention. I heard a parent talk to me about, she has a child that has seizures. And all of a sudden, the other child started doing like shaking. Sometimes you want him to, and trying to imitate or do things, how a child with seizure would act. And started doing it in the home. They kept taking this child several times to the hospital and nothing was wrong. Until they really observed, and I think the dad was talking to him one day and was like, because that's how he gets the attention too. Nobody even pays attention to me. And those are his moments to get attention. So we really need to understand that we cannot remove siblings out of the equation. We can't just make it look like business as usual when we have siblings, when our child with special needs has siblings in the home. Also, some kids, because they know that maybe you just got to know about the diagnosis, and or maybe it's a younger sibling or an older sibling that just sees that things are changing around the home and the way we supporting this individual, they may just start to ignore, like, well, they really don't care about me anyway. You don't want your child to get to that level. So that is why I'm going to be sharing some of these tips today to help them not to get to the level of just ignoring and taking, well, I got it, I'm going to do it. And just little by little, because we know. For example, I remember when I was, younger, and all I would do was, okay, I know I read this information already, and I'm going to pass my exam. So most of the time when we're talking about reading and studying, my parents already know that she got it, and she got it. So they focus more on my other siblings, And then at the end of the day, I realized, even as an older person, I'm like, what if they focused more on me? Like, oh, we know you got it, but you still got to do it. That to me would have even helped more. Maybe I'll be leaving college with a first class, All right. So now that to me is how we think. If you're not careful and being, there's a way we have to make sure. We have to be intentional about assisting and dealing with siblings of children with special needs. Because if you are not intentional, we would take their help or assistance or their ignoring as their superpower. And by then, we're losing that child. So if the child begins to ignore, or we begin to feel like, oh, God is going to do it on his own, at the end of the day, that child will just find that confidence in himself. And the whole world may seem just overwhelming for child, especially for children that are very close in age. That may create something more negative for them in future. Some of them even start overcompensating for parents. Oh, I know my mom is always tired. My dad is always tired. They get this all the time trying to help my sibling. So let me just be good in school. Let me just take up this responsibility. Or let me just go throw the trash away. Then they don't act like children that they are again. Some even take it so serious that they don't. They begin to act like they are older and older and they must be in charge. I've had siblings walk into my classroom when maybe the other child has a meltdown, and I'm looking, this must be the child raising this child at home. I had a sibling just a year apart in age. Saw one of his other siblings. I was like, oh, this is how you disturb the class? Now you better sit down. And guess what? That child sat down. Because in the home, he's seen that his siblings are also parents. So we do not want our kids to get to that level, so there must be balances. Now, let me go back to the tips. I'm going to go through these tips, immediately so we can end this. So like I said, tip number 1, to avoid all those ignoring and all that happen to our siblings, the siblings of a child with special needs, we need to talk about it. Talk about the disability in the home. Talk about the diagnosis. Talk about the assistance and more support that their sibling would need. And tell them what you expect from them. Give instructions and weigh it together. Just if you need to share assignments, if you need to share tasks in the home, if you need to even do inclusive activities, let them be aware. Don't just pump it into them. Don't just expect it to happen. But we need to talk about it. We need to explain why their sibling needs certain attention or certain support, and why you want them to also provide that support. And while we are doing that, we need to make sure that these supports are also age appropriate. You're not giving a 6-year-old child a responsibility of a 10-year-old or 15-year-old sibling. You don't want to give a 10-year-old sibling a responsibility of an 18-year-old sibling. So you want to make sure that whatever you're talking about and the support you want them to, be involved in is also age appropriate. Also, while doing that, you want to create inclusive environment and inclusive environments in the home. How do we create this inclusive environment? It could be through chores. Sometimes it may be a non-verbal sibling. It may be a child that is that needs wheelchair ability, something assistance to move around the home. You need to create chores within the siblings that they can work together and do together. So in that way, this other sibling is not being overwhelmed with, I got to do everything. It could be as, okay, you're going to put the plates away, just put your brother's hands and, no, you see your brother putting the plates away too, we just want to we want them to know that all this is not on you, and we're going to include every member of the family has something to do. Also, create time for individual activities. Create time for each child. If I understand that we have a lot of doctor's appointments, we have a lot of therapies, so, related services appointments, or a lot of tired time, like tiring moments, that you just want to be there. Like, I've gone all day, I've had to deal with this all day, and I just need to rest. But in the midst of that, when we're creating schedules, I always tell parents of my children with exceptionalities that create your schedule. Do a timetable that would help you, and would help you not just physically, not just in balancing your schedules, but it helps emotionally. So when you already have that on your timetable, make sure you also create enough time for rest. Just try to fit that in so that there won't be stress. When everything seems like overwhelming, there won't be stress. And one of the things that really help is you need to find another adult. I'm talking to the single parents now, or a parent that the other one is not supporting. Now you need to find another individual that you trust, that believes so much in you and would follow through with your goals as well concerning your children. And talk to them. Let them know I may need your help. Let them know. Create time. We need to spread it. We need to talk about it. Sometimes you're like, maybe they don't care. But if you don't ask, you never can tell who is willing to help. It could be in your church community. And also to churches, we need to be observant. We need to even ask, do you need help? You need a babysitter, so that parents can also, have time. When they have time, remember, you have other siblings attending the children's church. If the parent is overwhelmed and she's not capable, or she's too tired to care for the child with special needs, then how do you expect to find other siblings in church? So we all need to just work on this together. And when we create a time for that, we're creating positive environment for our kids, and then we make sure we balance handling situations. Sometimes, we ignore the positive that the other child is doing. And then he sees you talking to his other siblings for just maybe putting something in the trash. Like, wow, good job, baby, good job. And he's wondering, like, I do that all the time. She never even said good job. Or what did I do that she had to, correct me so many times like that, but she never did that to my sibling. So we need to know how to balance situations when we have siblings. Other kids in the house with our special needs child. Balance it. And also, very important, I always want to let my parents know, never depend on a sibling. Never depend on a sibling. I've talked to parents that they will tell you, well, I'm doing all this and I'm putting this sibling in the know, so when I'm not there or when I pass, it can take over and that child can stay with him and they can live together. In fact, I even bought a house that they can live together. You don't want to do that. Everybody has issues of their own that they're balancing. And I understand there's a family bond. There's an expectation when it comes to siblings. But also importantly, we want our children to also enjoy life and the little things that they find pleasure in enjoying. They're going to grow up and have their own family, kids. You never can even tell if they're going to have their own child with special needs. And if everything that we've done to support their own sibling is to rely solely on them and for them to take over when we are not there, then there's going to be a flop. So as these kids are growing up, we want to have opportunities and time to really discuss with them what are the options. Okay, what do you think you're going to do when you guys grow up and you're together? How do you want to handle it? Let them have a say in the situation. So most importantly, today, I've been able to tell you, discuss some of the support and the tips to help. And I'm just going to do a quick recap. When I talk about topics like this, gets me so, it's one of my best to talk about because I hear about it a lot and I see how siblings can be so overwhelmed and some at the end of the day even create hatred because they just believe, oh, all my life, it's always him. All my life, it's always her, and they just give so much undivided attention. So parents, first of all, remember, talk about it. Let every child in the home know about it, about the exceptionalities and how they can support. Explain to the children. Then create room for them to answer, to question and give them answers. Create time for each individual child. Create a positive environment. Balance handling situations, and remember, never depend on siblings. That is it today as Pet Every Day. And I hope you'll be able to share this message and information for the world to hear about it and to know how to better support individuals with exceptionalities. When we all have that emotional stability and we all have that emotional strength, then we'll be able to push in more support. When the sibling knows and understands what's going on, they'll be able to do so much to support. So again, I'll see you next week as Pet Every Day. Remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel, share, like, and comment. It's your girl, Bolatito Fatoki. See you next Friday, and adios.